Verizon has released their flagship 5G mobile hotspot device, the Orbic Speed 5G. Hi there, I'm Cherie with the Mobile Internet Resource Center, and Verizon has had past 5G mobile hotspot devices, but they all were kind of lacking in features that made us not able to recommend them. The most recent one was the Inseego M2100 that was released in September 2020, and this one we knew already lacked features for mid-band spectrum with Verizon, so we put an advisory to not get the M2100 because it would not be future-proofed. But there's not been any other option for Verizon that we could recommend. And now with Verizon's rapidly spreading out their mid-band C-band spectrum, that spectrum on 5G is becoming critically important if you want to stay connected on Verizon's 5G network. We had anticipated that the Orbic Speed 5G would be released earlier this year, and it finally was released just last week, and it is out now, available on Verizon's website for just $299, which is an incredible price point for a 5G mobile hotspot device. It is the lowest cost 5G hotspot device on the market right now. Now, Orbic is kind of a newer player in the hotspot space. Typically, Verizon's flagship devices have been made by Inseego, such as the M2100, and their flagship LTE device, the 8800L. So it is kind of unusual to see Inseego not coming out with this device. But Orbic has been around for a little bit. They have had an entry-level device before, so it remains to be seen yet if this will stand up to the test of time and have the reliability that we've gotten used to in flagship hotspot devices. Now, what makes the Orbic Speed 5G unique and what makes it worthwhile considering getting as part of your 5G Verizon arsenal is that it does support that C-band spectrum of N77 that is critical to Verizon's 5G network. It is still based, however, on the X55 Qualcomm modem chipset, which will not do carrier aggregation against that C-band spectrum and either millimeter wave or low-band spectrum. So that is a future-proofing thing that is still concerned, but it's probably going to be a while before we see the X60 or 65 chipsets come to hotspots and routers. So it's not something we can really do anything about at present time anyway. Other cool features about this hotspot, one that I'm particularly excited about, is this. This is a gigabit Ethernet port that allows you to use this device as a WAN input into other routers. Like if you have a PepWave router or even a home router, you can use Ethernet directly to an Ethernet WAN port on a router and use this as a cellular input as part of that setup. That is a feature that we've typically only seen on the Netgear Nighthawk for AT&T's network. So it's awesome to see that coming to a consumer level device on Verizon's network, something we've all long wished for. It does have USB as well for tethering via USB. Our initial testing, we're not getting it to work very reliably. The Ethernet does. And the downside, however, is like all of the 5G hotspots that we see coming out, except for the Netgear 5G one, is there are no antenna ports on this, which means your signal enhancing options with this hotspot are limited. It's basically putting it in a window, putting it outside, or using a cellular booster, which has only limited use with cellular data, especially as we move into a 5G world with this new spectrum that boosters don't cover. So that is definitely a consideration with going with a hotspot device over a cellular embedded router, which would give you the ability to use external antennas for a better signal. Otherwise, it is typical of a mobile hotspot device. It has a battery inside that's supposed to provide up to 12 hours of usage. Just keep in mind, if you're using it nonstop, you're not going to get full 12 hours out of it. It does require the battery to be inserted if you are running this plugged in all of the time. So you can't run it without the battery inside. So keep that in mind with battery health and checking that if you do leave it plugged in all of the time. We do have a guide on that that you can follow up with. Aside from the Ethernet out for your LAN, it does also support Wi-Fi 6, which is the current generation of Wi-Fi. So definitely a great feature. It is a flagship hotspot device, and like I said, at $299, it represents the best value for a 5G hotspot device on any of the carriers. We just purchased ours. We are putting it into testing, and our members can follow along in our testing in progress form for our hands-on notes, which will then become part of our member review in the future. So thanks for tuning in. It's exciting to see new hotspots coming out. And members, stay tuned for any reports on this to see if this is something that might play a role in your arsenal. These videos are brought to you by our premium members, our mobile internet aficionados. They make it possible for us to track this news and create these videos. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel, or better yet, consider becoming a member yourself.